Coming up, 2 WWE stars, 1 former, 1 current, tease in-ring returns. Vince McMahon's involvement in the debut episode of Multicolored Beefcake Simulator NXT 2.0 is revealed, and Ollie is going to be reviewing AEW Dynamite from last night, so stick around for that. And subscribe if you haven't already, because in tomorrow's episode, I will show you El Catador. He's currently having a siesta. 18-hour siesta. Cats, they don't do anything, do they?
Support WrestleTalk!
Now, easily one of the most shocking WWE releases of the past year has to be Bray Wyatt, because the merch-moving monster was heavily featured on WWE programming before taking some time out post-WrestleMania and then weirdly being let go. Where Bray, currently going by real name Wyndham Rotunda, lands in wrestling remains to be seen, but rumours say that both Impact and AEW have made plays to sign him. And it looks like we could be seeing his re-emergence shortly, as a fan asked on Twitter what was going on with Wyndham, who responded, "Everything will be clear. I'll see you all very soon. Revenge is a confession of pain." Wyatt was released in July, so October looks like it could be the end of a 90-day non-compete clause kind of time, which is just in time for Halloween. I love Halloween. Also fueling the rumour mill is Paige, who posted a cryptic tweet with just the word January. Could be her favourite month. Maybe she forgot to add the Jones, her favourite actress. But many are speculating that this might be a significant month on the road to her in-ring return, as Paige has made no bones about the fact that she's working hard to step back into the ring again, buoyed by the miraculous returns of Edge and Bryan Danielson from neck injury. Speaking of injury, my interest in NXT has been severely damaged after watching the first episode of NXT 2.0, because the show made good on the rumours that it would refocus its efforts on big, huge slabs of meat in singlets, with Bron Breakker, Von Wagner, Briff Bootleg, and Chuck Schneider all featuring in prominent roles. Only 2 of those were actually true, but they all sounded about right. Because they all sound like something that would come out of the brain trust of Vince McMahon and Kevin Dunn, whose roles on the show this week have been revealed. Now, according to Ringside News, Vince reportedly wanted to be extra involved in the first episode of the new era and reviewed the script along with WWE lead writer Ed Koskey. He wasn't at the recording, and neither was Triple H due to his recent cardiac event, but Kevin Dunn oversaw the show, which was reportedly changed multiple times throughout the day from backstage. Classic WWE scripting. But apparently those changes paid off, at least in the short term, as WrestleNomics have posted to say that NXT 2.0 dragged in 770,000 viewers, which is their highest since April 20th this year, and a significant increase over last week's 601,000. It was also peanuts on the up in the demos too, with a 0.21 rating in the 18 to 49 demographic. So let's see how long the morbid curiosity lasts. Now, hot tag to Ollie for a word from our sponsors. I don't know if he does the other bit though. Still don't know, don't watch his back.
Before we get on with the rest of the news, I'd just like to say a huge thank you to this video's sponsor, Manscaped.com, the global brand for men's grooming and hygiene products. You can get your grooming regime going with 20% off, free international shipping, and 2 free gifts at manscaped.com/WTTV. And then you too can finally groom your pubes into the hottest haircut in wrestling right now, the Balls Lesnar, or Bryan Daniel Dick. I pull the hair back and tie a little knot and everything. My girlfriend won't come near me at the moment. Manscaped have just launched their new Performance Package 4.0 bundle, the perfect man maintenance all-in-one kit, including the upgraded Lawnmower 4.0 waterproof electric trimmer, complete with skin-safe technology to avoid busting yourself open hard way, the Crop Preserver Ball Deodorant and Crop Reviver Ball Toner Spray, which have been a gooch saver in the summer heat, and the Weed Whacker Nose and Ear Hair Trimmer, which personally really helps my hay fever irritated nose. And for a limited time only, when you order the Performance Package 4.0 kit, you get 2 free gifts with our link manscaped.com/WTTV in the video description below. The Shed Travel Bag and Manscaped Anti-Chafing Boxer Briefs, along with 20% off and free international shipping. And make sure you enroll in their peak hygiene plan too, so you get your favourite products delivered hassle-free before you run out. So go to manscaped.com/WTTV now and upgrade your grooming life. And as a bonus, it really helps support us here at WrestleTalk too, even if you just click the link to check them out. Support Manscaped. Support your balls. Now it's Thursday, you know what that means. My review of AEW Dynamite in about 5 minutes. Wow. The last 4 weeks in AEW have seen them launch a new weekly show, the return of CM Punk, their biggest pay-per-view ever, All Out, and the debuts of Bryan Danielson, Adam Cole and Ruby Soho. It's probably time to take your foot off the gas a little bit and decompress. Screw you, we're effectively doing another pay-per-view next week. And this is now its go-home show, with a crowd 13,000 people strong in New Jersey. Where is New Jersey on my WWE Maps app? I can only see the New York area. This week's Dynamite opened with CM Punk coming out for his now compulsory tope suicida to the audience. I wish I was there to get elbowed in the face by CM Punk and have his gooch on my shoulder. Punk provided a fascinating extra layer of commentary, saying he's been around long enough to leave his fingerprints over the business. Like for Dynamite's opening match with a man he helped get into wrestling, making his in-ring debut here, Adam Cole. Cole Bay took on Kaz in a typically incredibly solid bout. Kaz is just an absolute pleasure to watch wrestle, having a lot of Cole's offense scouted in advance with his Elite Hunter gimmick, but Cole was too good, beating him with a Panama Sunrise and last shot. The post-match story time with Adam Cole Bay saw him lay out a 6-man tag challenge of him and the Young Bucks versus Christian Cage, Luchasaurus and Jungle Boy, who accepted later in the show with Cage's brutal line about the Elite rescuing Cole from developmental. They'll wrestle on next Friday's Rampage. MJF continued his heat on your local hometown here, where the crowd tried to shut him down with a shut the F up chant. MJF wasn't to be derailed though, trying to talk to the late Brian Pillman looking up at the sky, before saying, "Who am I kidding?" and talking to the floor for hell instead. It was a brutally offensive line which worked very effectively as Brian Pillman Jr. ran down to chase MJF off. A clip was then played of Pillman's sit-down interview with JR earlier that day, where Brian cut a very good promo contrasting MJF's life of privilege with his own feral upbringing. Matt Sydal and Dante Martin teamed up next to take on both the Laws of Physics and FTR. FTR won with a big rig. Malachi Black then came down for a rare in-ring promo. He referred to the audience as the House of Black, which was very cool, but said they had a traitor in the front row. Go Big Show judge Rosaria Dawson, which you can watch on TBS. Yeah, I kind of forgot this was a Cody Rhodes feud. To her credit, Dawson properly jumped on Black's back before he spun her to the ground, while Cody Rhodes made his return to brawl with Malachi through the crowd. The Dark Order shouted at each other again, "I want Hangman back to stop them fighting." And then Dan Lambert told us how you know a wrestler is popular. Their t-shirts are sold out in men's small and women's extra large. He body shamed us. He totally got us with the body shaming, guys. Thanks for your support on Patreon. He can last Sean for longer than you in the ring, and the cleaner, Kenny Shah. Get your own shout out and loads of exclusive content by visiting patreon.com/WrestleTalk. America's Top Team finally then started to build a match where Lambert, Ethan Page and Scorpio Sky were interrupted by the very nice surprise of Chris Jericho and MMA's own Jake Hager. Both Lambert and Jericho were incredible here. As Dan screamed, "Nobody knows the words to Judas," so the entire crowd sang it. And then Jericho asked, "Who's on top in the faction?" He's talking about bumming. And they booked yet another huge match from out of nowhere, Jericho and Hager versus Sky and Page for next week. The Gun Club spoke about their heel turn. Oh yeah, they did turn heel, didn't they? Forgot about that. Jade Cargill beat Layla Hirsch in a decent match to stay undefeated. That is all the time you're getting, women. Andrade cut a promo on Chavo saying he never gave the order to interfere. He's the kingpin. Taz interrupted Punk on commentary, telling him to fight his son. "Fight my son, Punk. Fight my handsome son." It was a powerhouse trap though, as Hobbs jumped Punk and then put him through the announcers table to build their match on Rampage next week. Punk's first TV bout for 7 years. In what was actually my match of a very good night, Darby Allin had a really innovative match against Shawn Spears, built around how Spears gave Allin his first loss in AEW years ago. Spears really stood out in his psychopathic character here, even making sanding his knee as a heel work and trying to rub off Darby's face paint, but Allin won with a coffin drop in the end. The post-match was equally as effective, as FTR and Tully then beat down Darby and Sting, hitting a spike pile driver and the ultimate insult, wiping a 62-year-old man's face paint off. Bryan Danielson then had an in-ring promo with Don Callis and Kenny Omega. But just in case you thought he might still be in the WWE mindset, he said the S word about 8 times. It's weird seeing Brian be so mean. But despite all the convoluted, over-the-top fantasy bookings we've all done over the years, I literally did mine last month. AEW have once again excelled in restraint. Brian issued a challenge to Omega once again to see who is the best wrestler. Kenny replied with, "You want the best bout machine? You got it. No wackiness, no elite shenanigans, no Suzuki-gun interference. Just arguably two of the best wrestlers in history having a match, because the big shocking thing was announced next. It's freaking happening next Wednesday at the Grand Slam show on free TV. On a night of excellent promo work, it was Miro who got the best line. Accepting Fuego del Sol's TNT title rematch challenge for this Friday, he threatened, "They say don't put your hand on a stove that has already burned you, but you put your throat on a blade that has already spared you." And the main event had Moxley and Eddie Kingston beat 2.0 in a standard tag, because it was the post-match that was the draw here. Minoru Suzuki coming out for his full Kaze Minare entrance music, and getting a brawl to build his and Lance Archer's tag match against Mox and Kingston. Credit to AEW, they screwed up last week and they made up for it as soon as they could. What did you think of AEW? Let me know in the comments down below. 84% of you went for Omega vs Danielson is happening next week in our poll on a poll match. This might have been one of the best promo work shows in recent memory. Punk on commentary, Miro and Lambert versus Jericho, which is exactly what you want to build the bigger matches for next week's Grand Slam show. AEW has so much momentum right now. This week's Dynamite, by their standards, is 4 out of 5.
I will give you one final chance to guess the name, Sully.
Jeremy Booker.
Steve.
Jeremy Booger.
Jeremy Booger. I'm writing that.
Jeremy Booker.
Jeremy
We're gonna start booking our own video game promotions against Steve. We're gonna have Jeremy Booger.
Jeremy Booker.
Let's send that guy some merch.